Okay, it's day 157.2, and this is a March 2018 report about the vacancies here in the Inspector General's offices. There's supposed to be about 64 inspectors general in the different departments. These are the key investigators of the investigators to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. Now, here are the departments listed by length of vacancy. You can see here Department of Interior. You can read this uranium 1, uranium 1, uranium 1, the BLM being a part of the Department of the Interior. That is gone the longest without the Inspector General. So I am going to say that that is China, 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 as far as deals go with forest reserves, and then also Russia, Russia, Russia with uranium 1 type minerals deals through Canada, always through Canada. It's always going to be through an intermediary. XM Bank, the Export Import Bank, is important. We looked at a senior executive service there the other day. These are both the presidential appointees with Senate confirmation. Almost 4 years. Now, again, this goes up. Now it's almost 6 years now for Department of Interior, right? So, Department of Energy with the SIPOP truckers, we know that's a big one. Department of Defense, Department of Defense, almost 2 years. We're spending a record amount on the flying F-35 Flying Pigs squadron, yet no Inspector General with the huge increase we just had in the budget there. OPM, this makes me think of Mike McMahon, right? With FBI saying 665,000 went through with no vetting. Okay, now is that a good situation? We're going to get to Andy McCabe and the GCHQ desk over at Fort Washington and Fort Meade here in a second. Maybe the Navy Yard, Postal Service again. How many postal employees are being diverted to other things? That's the key. There is whatever they say they are. There are inevitably going to be some departments, some silent employees, some employees working off site that are actually doing different things that shouldn't. Social Security, and now you can see NSA. This is going to be Doug Gabriel's old department here at NSA, right? I can't count how many people I've met from NSA and interviews I've conducted at NSA. But anyway, the Small Business Administration, we've talked about that 8A firms and the kind of the GSA. This is the kind of the Freitag Insider GSA. We're going to do the portal. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. You got the Election Commission, which is scary in and of itself, and then HUD. And then we just lost the Tennessee Valley Authority. I don't know if that's uranium 1 or megatons to megawatts, but this almost reads like all the scandals that are about ready to break in the order that they're going to break. It's almost an amazing, just by vacancies, is going to tell you almost what the order of scandals and how they're going to break. Let's go drill down now a little bit. Sorry about that. Here's Andy McCabe saying he's confused. This is where he's confused about when he talked to reporters. He's going to be even more confused when we talk about Fort Washington, Navy Yard, and Fort Meade and the GCHQ desk. I'll explain what I mean. So this is the Navy Yard. I've said Building 213, the underground building there, was where the Awans worked along with Rayo and company, potentially as one area. Now, could be that they worked from home out in Springfield and then came into the Navy Yard when they needed to get into the skiff. So we don't know that. They could have been working at NGA in Springfield or out in the secure facility out there with JTTF. That's possible. And then only coming into the Navy Yard for access to CyberNet. Did they have access to the Cyber Secure Net out there? Could they access the CyberNet if they just went to TISCOM, the TISCOM over here in down along the Potomac over here? We don't know. We don't know exactly. The National Harbor is obviously going to play a big role in Five Eyes because that's where we're going to give our data over here to G4S. G4S is going to probably be our contractor for food inspection all over the world. For DHS, that's where you're going to have the drugs. That's where the drug inspection line, especially for the halal meat and potentially also fruits and vegetables. But here's for just reference purposes, here's where that famous Hawkshead Drive is. This is where I find there's the auto train, right? Choo choo, get ready. Here comes another load of weapons, deep uranium depleted small missiles in the trunk. Thanks, Alpha Jalo. We'll talk to you later. That's all down here, Fort Belvoir, of course. And Andre Taggart fame, the Defense Logistics Agency. So this just for reference here. So we've got the National Harbor, we've got the Navy Yard. Now the other one I wanted to introduce to you, you've been introduced by McDuff, who, by the way, he said his father was the highest ranking guy at the Pentagon. But there at 1971 there was no G4. Excuse me, there was no GS 17, 18, 19. He was a GS 17 or 18, 19 equivalent, something like that, very high up, highest ranking civilian in the Pentagon. No retirement program whatsoever. But here's Fort Washington. If you remember me going down the Potomac and then shooting that from the river because it's the easiest way to access it. Of course, here's Fort Hunt. Here's Reinhard Gehlen. Here's all that Nazi art that we found. So this is really kind of a tour de force with a map. Here's Joint Base Andrews with the Tuskegee Airmen Memorial over there. I've talked to a lot of G4 or G12s, G13s that work there. Also the Bowling Air Force Base, Bowling in here somewhere, right in here somewhere. Of course, Anacostia, DHS. So right in here. So anyway, right in here, excuse me. So I've spent a lot of time researching this, but this facility here, it's interesting because it came out on Cryptome, and this came out a while ago. And a friend of mine who used to work at NSA told me about this site. He's a relative of mine, I think. Anyway, he told me about this site with Cryptome, and Cryptome has all these things saying, hey, there's a CIA undercover research facility at this site here at River Road, 530 River Road. Well, this is supposedly where the hammer is. That's the hammer. Here's the gate. There's a bunch of grass. You don't really see much. There's the gate there. The hammer, if you recall, is where supposedly John Brennan and James Clapper have the illegal ways of listening in on conversations. Is that where Andy had the Awans listening in the conversations at the GCHQ desk, or did he have them in Fort Meade, or did he have them over at JTTF in Springfield? We don't know the answer to that yet, but they're going to be one of those locations. Now, everyone says, oh, wait a minute, it's the Interagency Training Center, it's the ITC. So this used to be big secrets. Now everyone says, oh yeah, Fort Washington is where we train all of our interdepartmental folks. We haven't shown you that yet, but I like going to the map and just showing how this stuff goes from, oh, this is a conspiracy theory to, oh, by the way, actually it is what the reality is. So if you want to see that again on the map, we'll go right back to the map here. This is this place right here from across from Fort Washington. Oxon Hill, of course, is where McDuff's office was. That's up there high on that hill by the casino. Let's launder some money today. We'll put it right through the MGM casino there. And that is your geo locating wrap up for this morning.